Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Another Wednesday night live in the cabin.
7:30 on the dot.
Look at that. That is awesome.
On the dot. Well, it's 7:31 now, so we made it by 7:30.
Right?
There you go.
That's all that matters, man. As long as we're back live on Wednesday night, it's all good to go.
How you doing tonight?
You know, I'm kind of enjoying this kind of cooler weather.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you?
Right?
Well, that's good.
Absolutely.
What have you been doing enjoying yourself with this cooler weather?
Working. Just like you, so.
That's not enjoying.
We're going to enjoy it tomorrow night, though.
Yes, we are, hopefully.
You right?
And what are we going to be doing tomorrow night, Danny?
We're going to go do a little kayak fishing.
There you go.
Get ourselves out and go do some fishing.
Should be a good time.
Right?
I'm looking forward to it.
That's the plan, Stan.
All right. You let me know when you're ready over there, when you're done monkeying around. So let's see. Mr. Genzel and Mr. Coleman are in the cabin. There we go. So already starting to kick it off. They're lining up at the door, handing their tickets.
Because they want to see our guest tonight.
Yeah, I hope that's the reason they want to be
right,
here.
You know. I tell you what, it's going to be a full month of interviews coming up, and we're going to end this month on a spectacular note.
We're stacking,
kind of like having the best outdoors.
We're stacking up the interviewees.
Yeah, that's right.
Like deer in Michigan during deer season.
Well, not quite. Let's just stick with cordwood. It'd be good.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying we got them lined up.
I tell you what, get ready, folks. It's gonna be a good one. How about we talk about some supporters of ours?
Well, how about we start the show before we do that?
Well, let's do that.
Wow, he's jumping the gun. How much coffee have you had already?
Not enough right now.
Wow, he's already had a half a cup and he's wanting more. All right, here we go. Stand by in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. Host Mike Adams sitting in the cabin tonight. A nice, cool Michigan evening here. Finally, the temperatures have broke. We've got a little rain, and I got Dan DeFall sitting here by my side.
That's right, folks. And if you're listening on the podcast, I'm telling you what, you got to go over and watch the live Facebook feed because there's things you won't hear on here that you would see that happens on the live show.
There you go.
But anyways, I tell you what, this weather is being awesome. I think my grass actually has a tinge of green to it.
Mine does. I actually mowed today.
Did you?
Yes, front and back.
I was thinking about doing it tomorrow. I'm like, we'll see.
Second time I've mowed the front yard this month.
Right?
Dan Carr is in the cabin. Dan, what is going on? It's been a long time. We need to talk. Maybe after the show.
Right? But yeah, you know, it's been one of those things. The weather has broken, but I get a feeling it's going to get a little warm again.
Well, we've got one of our supporters that's actually just posted or popped into the cabin. So we need to get busy and get our supporters' name out there.
Absolutely. So why don't we do that?
Go right ahead.
All right. Tell you what, folks, we're just a couple months away from October, and well, early season in September. Get on over to buckbaits.com if you're in Southeast Michigan and you're in Sterling Heights and you go over to the brick and mortar deer camp store at 15 and Dodge Park. They carry obviously buck baits in there, but if you want 20% off your order, get over to buckbaits.com. Use the promo code UNJ20. I used the Easy Cuts yesterday. Actually, I was using the extension saw.
I used mine last a week and a half ago.
There you go. And I tell you what, we got a great little deal with Easy Cut. If you want 15% off your order, use the promo code UNJ15 off at easycutproducts.com and go over there and get yourself some great tools. The man, the myth, the legend they call Lincoln Rohn, who is our special guest tonight, and we've got our code with him, UNJ25, gets you $25 off your order at PackerMaxx.com. And if you are interested in a 3-point system, do you have that picture?
I do. If you give me 1 second,
he's running a special to the end of the month. He's got a 3-point PackerMaxx. You can get $75 off the PMK 43 HD.
PMX 43.
Is that what it's? Okay, good. Thank you for the correction.
You need some coffee.
Well, no, it's way over there. But get on over there if you want a 3-point PackerMaxx. Can't say enough about the Island Armory. Always getting new stuff in. They like guns, we gotta admit.
Who doesn't like guns?
Right?
Speaking of, Natalie just popped into the cabin.
There she is. And if you want 10% off your order, UNJ10 over at theislandarmory.com. Go over there, check their website weekly because she's always adding new stuff. They're always getting in the store, and it doesn't stay long once she gets it in. September 1st in Michigan. Goose season. Get over to jpogamecalls.com. Check out UNJ10 for 10% off your order over there. We switched over to cold brew, and over at Deer Camp Coffee, you can get 10% off your order, UNJ10, and get yourself some coffee. And don't forget to get the UNJ blend itself, a perfect medium roast for everybody to enjoy. It's courtesy of the label 8UNJ.
There you go.
And if you switch over to my screen, let me make a quick check. Yep, the other camera's missing, but it's 72 degrees in St. Ignace, Michigan, where we're taking a look at the famous Mackinac Bridge.
There you go.
And thanks to M123 FM up in Newberry.
They carry our show, and you can also find Deer Camp Coffee at Cedars, where you can also get a pizza up there as well.
And we hear the pizza's awesome.
That's what I hear. I hear it's pretty good up there.
Right?
So, there you go. Got everybody taken care of?
I think we do.
So, before we get our guest in here, I want to set the tone for tonight's show.
I think you need to.
I've got a special video that was sent to me, and I think we ought to play it and just kind of get everybody in the mood for what we're going to talk about tonight. And this might also give you some ideas in case you want to save a little money on gas with these high prices nowadays. So sit back here, take a listen. None other than the PackerMaxx, and now we have Lincoln Rohn. Lincoln, did you get a chance to see what we just had up?
Yes, I did. That's awesome.
I tell you what, with high gas prices the way they are, if your vehicle drinks regular or drinks diesel, I'm thinking we've kind of got it for you there.
Yeah, that's the ticket right there.
Well, it shows you just how easy it is to use the PackerMaxx. I mean,
Right.
It's so easy. You can get a bike and pedal it out there.
Yep.
And you actually told us that you were at a show here this past week, and that they're pushing these electric vehicles nowadays, but they had an electric bike there, and you said they hooked that up to the PackerMaxx as well.
Yep, the e-bike, and I think it was I don't even know what brand it was. I think it was a Rambo, and they we hooked it up and drug it all over the place. So it worked out pretty good.
I tell you what, it's just one of those things. I bet you caused quite a stir by doing that.
Yeah. The promoter wasn't super happy with us, but whatever.
So, sounds like you like to get into just a little bit of trouble every now and then. We know you. We know you too well.
My mother would definitely agree with you on that.
Maybe we need to have her on the show one night and get the real story behind Lincoln Road.
Can we do that? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure she could tell some stories.
Oh.
That was not a great kid.
How the heck are you, man? What have you been up to?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Been up. We've been busy as ever, and obviously this is our busy season, and just came off a trip out east and went to Upper State New York, and one of my big dealers out there. They have 3 locations, and they do food plot events at each location, and so we did Upper State New York on Wednesday last week, and then Thursday we did in Detroit, Maine, and then Friday we came back into Vermont, and then spent 14 hours on the road Saturday driving home, and I was just about home and drove into a massive thunderstorm and got to pull over for a half hour so I could see.
You probably needed the rest, actually.
I did.
That's a whirlwind.
I was wrecked. I'm still. If I'm a little subdued tonight, that's why I'm tired. Still, the older I get, the more it takes it out of me.
He said, "Subdued." Him subdued. Lincoln Rohn subdued.
I'm not buying it. No way.
Right.
Give him a little bit, and he'll get fired right back up. It'll be some woke keyword will hit. And he'll be throwing the hat at the screen.
Some of the coffee right now, Deer Camp blend right here.
There you go. You know, and you know, we wanted to have you on. Last week we talked with Robbie over at Antler King. Obviously, like you said, this is your busy time of year, and we're getting into the food fall plot season. And you know, we're just coming off of a pretty good stretch of dryness over on this side of the state. Has it been just as dry over on your side of the state for you?
Oh, it's been terrible. Absolutely terrible. So we've been struggling all, we had actually had a pretty wet spring. So things, got up and off to the races. Well, then we went from, having a pretty wet spring to absolutely the driest period I've probably seen since we've owned the property 40 years ago. So, I had corn and beans planted. I planted all my screen, put $500 worth of miscanthus grass and, the rhizomes in the ground. We did a field of soil builder from Vitalize, because we have a field that we needed to get some biomass in, and switchgrass, the whole 9 yards. And I was up 2 weeks ago, and it was all basically dead.
Yeah, it's pretty dry.
Yeah, I mean, like, not just dormant, like dead. And so, my clover field, I think I am getting a couple pictures on the cell cam off the clover field. So I think that, the rain we did get up there, we got 2.5 inches the other night, and I think that perked my clover back up at least. So I'll be going up Friday to just kind of survey the situation, but yeah, it's been brutal up there. So, we can't do any weed control on the clover field. We can't do any mowing because it's been, you'll kill it if you try to. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's been brutal for the deer, and you can even see it in their antler development. The few bucks that we do have are just down, and
they're not getting that forage in the prime time that they need it here in July going into August. The 2 to 3 big months, right?
Right, and then in Michigan we can't supplemental feed, we can't do minerals, we can't do anything. So they have been hitting my water tank like regularly, but that's the only thing we've got that we can relatively get decent pictures on is the water right now. And so I don't know, we'll see how it plays out, but it's been tough. I mean, you put all this time and energy and money into trying to set your properties up and get them dialed in, and then Mother Nature, you can do everything right, and if Mother Nature doesn't give you rain, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, talking about you said you had a wet spring over there.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked to Robbie last week about this, and we asked him this question. I want to ask you. It sounds to me like it's the perfect scenario for EHD. Now it's dry.
Well,
are you guys seeing anything over there or hearing anything yet?
So here's the deal. It wasn't until we got this massive rain.
Right.
When you have a dry period followed by a wet period, so like as these ponds have been subsiding, this is the way I'm understanding it, and everything I know about it. As these ponds are subsiding, because it's so stinking dry, you don't have that mud as much as you do if you have a rain and then a dry period and then more rain. You have all that mud on the banks. That's where the midge comes from, is all the mud. And so right now it seems that EHD is at bay. I have not heard of any massive outbreaks, or seen anything online about it. So crossing my fingers, because our lease in Illinois, we've got one buck in particular that I have a score to settle with down there, and he could be, 190 inches this year, and I certainly don't want to find him along the river.
Do you have pictures of him? From this year, I should say.
Not this year. So our lease down there is all it's Mississippi River bottom. Like I can pee right in the river, Mississippi River, from our lease bank. So they don't spend a lot of time down there this time of year. They're up. There's a big bluff across the road, and they spend most of the summer up in the beans across the, up on that bluff up in the high ground. And then when they cut all the corn up top, that's when all the bucks and does come piling down the river bottom.
Yep.
So I do have pictures of him. I know I hit him last year. I hit him through the back straps, unfortunately, and he was probably going to gross boon last year. And this year, he's, like I said, I would venture to say he's going to hit 190 this year. So, but we'll see.
But I tell you what, we're bumping up here on the first break. Let's take a quick break. We come back. Let's kind of pick up where we left off last week with this weather being dry. And actually, we did get a little rain since last week, so we got to get started on our fall food plot. So we'll pick up there when we come back right after this.
Okay. All right, folks. Got questions for Lincoln? Start lining them up. We're going to pick up kind of where we left off, talking about going into our fall food plots, what you should be doing, what you should be doing, which is fine. What Mother Nature's going to do is yet to be seen. Right? She can be sometimes cruel, or, like you said, instead of just giving you a nice rain, she gave you 2 inches of rain.
Well, just like down there in St. Louis, they got 8 inches of rain in 6 hours.
Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah, they were getting 2 inches of rain an hour.
Yep.
That's nuts. All right.
That's actually just south of our lease, so I was super happy that we didn't get hit with that, because then our river bottom would be underwater.
Oh, your camera would have looked great with just looking at water.
You've been looking at fish.
You would look at ducks.
I don't know if you've ever seen any of my pictures from our lease with
with the ducks. Pretty funny.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Second segment of the show. So we got some rain here the other night. We got it here in mid-Michigan, y'all over there. When I was looking at the radar, it looks like Grand Rapids just got hammered. We like rain, but we don't want a lot of rain too quickly. So we got some water in the ground now. Guys are thinking about getting their seed in the ground, getting ready for food plot season here for the upcoming fall. Facing the weather that we've had, what do guys need to be thinking right now? Maybe is there something they should be paying more attention to now the way the weather's got us to where we're at?
Well, right now, you're going to want to basically you're going to want to be starting to really start thinking about weed control, because you've got about a 2-week window right now. Let's face it, it's basically August 1st. It's the 26th of July, so we're going to blink and it's going to be August 1st. So a lot of people want to start planting their brassicas, over the next 10 days, 15 days. So if you haven't done your weed control already, you're going to want to get on that immediately. Get that, get your glyphosate sprayed, get the weed control done, because you want to let that set ideally, 10 days before you do any, disking or tilling.
Can you shorten that time frame if you don't have enough time? Your belief? Can you pull it off in a weekend spray? I'm just gonna pick Friday and Sunday. Spray on Friday, plant on Sunday. Could you pull that off? You think?
So it's not ideal to get a good kill down. Can you do it? Yeah. Will it work? It will probably help with some of the weeds, but you won't get a good kill. So Roundup is this. It's not. It's a slower acting. It takes. It takes a good 10 days, 7 to 10 days to start seeing. The results of, or the die off or the burn down. So you could spray, let it set for the weekend, and then and then till and plant. But ideally, you're going to want to give it 10 days.
How are you seeing the prices of glyphosate?
Yeah. So, last year we were selling it for $39 for a 2.5 gallon jug. This year we're actually cheaper than anybody around. We're at $110 for 2.5 gallons.
Really?
Yeah.
I was hearing upwards of $200.
No, well, that maybe for straight Roundup, but we sell the Farm Works, the generic, 41% glyphosate, and that's that's we're at $110 for 2.5 gallons. Tractor Supply's been $129. I've seen all the way up to $159 for the same stuff, but
amazing, isn't it? In 1 year.
yeah, it's crazy. Let's face it. I mean, everything has gone up, and fertilizer costs are up, seed costs are up, glyphosate's up. Diesel, gas, everything is up. The PackerMaxx. We absorbed any price increases as long as we possibly could, but we had to pass it along. I mean, you can't. When things are going up 20 and 30%, you can't absorb that for very long.
No, not at all. No.
So we were forced to do a price increase, and it's part of the it's part of the whole process right now. So unfortunately, but yeah, you're gonna want to get your spraying done. You're gonna want to start getting your brassicas and turnips in the ground soon, and then usually, like our cereal grains up here in Michigan, depending on where you're at, if you're in northern Michigan, you're going to want to get your cereal grains in the ground sometime around the 15th of August to the 20th, in that window. Down like where we're at in Newego, we like to get our cereal grains in right around the first. Well, usually we do it the weekend before Labor Day. That's kind of our target. Obviously, that date floats a little bit, so. But just for vacations and everything, we have, 7 police officers in our family, so their time off is hard to come by, so we got to schedule it accordingly. So, so usually we try to get our cereal grains in, that weekend before Labor Day, and get things off to the races. So, and again, we did get some soil moisture, which is good. It's really going to depend on what happens between now and then, and how things are going to go, or if we're going to struggle, or if we got to go buy a 2,000-gallon water tank to water our plots. So,
well, you mentioned the rain that you all got over there. We got a little here. That's going to work real well now if we can continue to get some rain.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, working with the PackerMaxx, that's going to work a lot better with some moisture content in the ground versus powder.
Yeah. So one thing, the PackerMaxx, so one of its claims to fame is, seed to soil contact, germination rates skyrocket when you use it because of the moisture retention. So when that leaves the grooves in the soil, so when you do get your precipitation, it funnels it down to the bottom of those grooves and holds it there and lets it absorb. Plus, you're compacting the soil so it's not aerated and releasing all the moisture. So, if you get a good rain on your food plot after you plant, within 5 to 7 days, you're going to have germination with a PackerMaxx. If you don't pack it, you just drag it. Who knows when it's going to be?
And one thing nice about the PackerMaxx, we're looking at your website right now, so we're live as we're talking about it, is you've got several different variations that you can enjoy using the PackerMaxx, whether it be a single, a double, and whatnot, if you want to use a 3-point or you want to use it as a tow behind on a 4-wheeler or a side-by-side. So you are definitely visiting everybody's price range that they want to go after. Now, for you're running the special on the PMX 43 HD right now.
Yeah, we have the 3-point Hitch 4-footer. Yep, we got $75 off of that right now.
And then, the most popular one, the PMX 4 HD. When it's dry, how much does something like that weigh?
So dry weight on that one is 100 pounds. It's actually just under 100. And then when you fill it with water, it's about 400 pounds. And if you add the wheel kit, then it'd be about 425 pounds.
So right there, like you said, if you're running this thing empty, throwing it in the back of the pickup and getting it where you need to, or and then when you go to fill it up, you get that added weight to it, and then when you're done with it, you can just kind of use the water to fill up something.
Yeah, you can. We've got a lot of guys that will drain it on their trees or into their watering tanks. Or we even have guys transport water in it and then pump it out of that into their backpack sprayer if they're back in if they're back in an area where they can't get a spray or two, then they'll they make a transfer pump for a cordless drill, and some guys are using that to pump and fill up their backpack sprayers. And but yeah, they're super versatile because you can take it from property to property, and they're easy to handle once they're empty, but yet when you fill them with water, they do an incredible job. So we have a new product we just launched. It's a conversion kit. We still use it, but the pin to drop in pin hitch system. And then we just designed and released a ball hitch conversion kit. So a lot of guys just, and it's all 2-inch ball. And so we just released that, so that's for sale on the website. And then last year we launched the Crimper, the PackerMaxx Crimper combo. And a lot of people are getting into especially with the price of glyphosate and fertilizers, they're wanting to get into this no-till system to help cut down on the amount of, spray that they have to use and the amount of fertilizer. By crimping and terminating their planting of rye, cereal rye, wheat, oats, buckwheat, and then you can seed into that, and then that helps to suppress the weeds. It's making it, all that organic material that you crimp down breaks down and feeds your soil. So that's been a very popular unit this year.
With that, you would crimp the field first, then plant, then come back over.
Depends on what you're planting. So if you're doing like brassicas, so my buddy down the road. So what we did with his field this year, we crimped it, and last year we crimped it in May, and then we just left it. It was all crimped over. It was just a mat of the cereal rye stems, and then we came back in August and we broadcast our PackerMaxx brassica blend into it, and then we cultipacked it, and then fertilized it with the Plot Doctor's liquid fertilizer, and then that stuff shot right to the roof. And so the smaller seeds, you don't necessarily have to plant seed or broadcast before you crimp. But if you were going to replant cereal grains or peas or something like that, you would want to broadcast into the standing cereal rye and then crimp it down and then cultipack it.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
you want that stuff on top of it.
Okay, so one of the questions coming in, the PackerMaxx being is 4 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
Any specific reason 4 feet?
Yes. So, number one, it is primarily used behind, a quad runner or a side-by-side. So it's got to have a smaller width. Plus, if we keep it under 48 inches or 48 or less, we can still ship it on UPS or FedEx ground. If we go above, the overall box cannot be any more than 54 inches long, otherwise it goes into oversize. And so then it pushes the cost of shipping way up. So I can ship one of these to South Texas, in Utah. That's one of the advantages, and it's all free shipping with it anywhere in the country. But that's one of the reasons we have to keep it under 4 feet. And then we have a double, we have the double unit that is an 8-footer. And that, we can still ship that because it's 2 of the 4s put together. So I literally we just shipped an 8-footer, one of our first 8-footers up into Canada this past week. So, that's a whole new market up there. So
yeah, that's awesome. Expanding your market, right?
Yeah. So, so that's one of the biggest reasons we have the 4-footer. Now, And, the other problem is mold cost. Like if you start getting into a 5 or 6 footer, that mold is going to be, potentially $100,000 just for the mold. We would have to have probably a bigger axle. The axle in it is molded right into the drum. And so if you have a 6 footer, obviously you're going to have a wider angle, a wider area where there could be more flex. And so there's some challenges with that. But overall, the 4 footer, I mean, if you put it behind a quad runner and you do a 1 acre field, I mean, you can knock that field out in 10 minutes. I mean, it's not a big deal.
No, it's not at all. That's why I use the quad.
You guys are using,
yep. And one of the other things about a 4 footer is if you're by yourself, the mobility of it, of turning it or doing what you need to do, like we talked about emptying it, getting into the back of the pickup or whatever it might be, 4 feet seems to be about a great number. And like you said, a lot of it saves you on shipping. Is there another question coming in? The warranty on it, what do you got there?
Yeah, so the warranty on against manufacturer defect is 2 years. We have, it's a solid warranty. We don't run very many warranty claims because they just don't break. I mean, they just don't. And, obviously we've had some extreme cases where one is broke and we've had to replace either parts or the whole thing. But I mean, it's rare. And, we pride ourselves on our customer service. I treat my customers how I want to be treated. And that has done very well for our business model, because if I always say the judge of a company isn't when things are going really good, it's when something happens that, I had a guy call me. This was, I don't even know, it was earlier this year. It was a Saturday night. Called, left a message. I didn't have service at the time. Said, hey, I just bought my PackerMaxx. First time around the plot. The scraper bar broke, and I can't do my plot. I have all the seed down on the ground. And so I got the message, and I'm like, oh, crap. So I called him right away, and he was blown away that the owner of the company called him on a Saturday night, from our cabin. And I said, hey, there's nothing I can do about it until Monday. I can't, ship you one until Monday, but I'm here to tell you I will get a brand new unit to you. It'll leave my building on Monday. You're going to have it on Tuesday, and you can pack your stuff on Wednesday. I said, it's not ideal, but I'm really sorry that happened. It's, it's rare. And he's like, well, to be honest with you, I was expecting a fight.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it is today. We stand behind our product, and if you have a problem with it, we're gonna take care of it. And and again, if you have questions on the product, if you call our phone number, you're probably you'll get me or my son Jeremiah, and we're gonna walk you through some stuff and help you out. So.
I tell you what, we're coming up to our second break, and people, if you're listening to the podcast or you're watching live on Facebook, just go on over to PackerMaxx.com. We're showing the website live as we talk about it here on the show. That's why you got to watch the live Facebook. But we're going to take our second break, and when we come back, we got some more questions.
All right, we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
All right, we've got a in the break question for Mr. Lincoln Rohn. And the question is,
what's on his arm?
What's your artwork on your arm?
So it's a tree, and there's some background in here. I got to have some touch up down on the background, and then my wife likes to call them my floating shed antlers because they're floating in the tree, she says.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
What made you think of that?
I love deer hunting, and I love trees, and I love antlers.
And you just went over there, and they thought it up, and you okayed it, and now it's on your arm.
Yep, we drew it up, and yep. So I got a American flag on my shoulder. I got an arrow there. I got a cross there. I don't know. I got a couple of them. I got just on it.
All right, I'm gonna open up with a question coming back here. So.
All right, let's do it.
All right, here we go. All right, we're back. Third segment. answer a question in the break. If you're listening to the podcast, obviously you got to go watch the live feed.
That's right.
Question coming back in here, getting back on the PackerMaxx. Made in the USA?
100%.
There you go.
And that's going to stay that way.
There you go. And we're glad to hear it. Glad to hear that.
I think those of you that know me know that I'm a outspoken
You laughed.
American weapon person. I have several flags in my shop, and I have a thin blue line bracelet on. My family is deep blue in law enforcement, and my son is a Marine veteran, and so yeah, it's very very important to me that this is going to stay American made. So I mean, the nuts and bolts are probably imported. Let's be honest, but 99% of it is made right here in the U.S. So our drums are molded in Milwaukee, just north of Milwaukee, and then all of our steel is done right here in Grand Rapids. So
you outspoken? I don't believe it. Not for a minute.
But as much as outspoken as he is, if you ever sit down or stand with and talk to him at a show, you can tell his passion that
Absolutely.
he has for what his arm represents, right? Antlers, outdoors, and everything, thin blue line, the American flag itself. But if you ever get a chance and you stop by, I know he's always busy when we're there, but if you get a few minutes to stop by, talk to Lincoln, you'll understand his passion for what he does. And it's amazing. We met him when it was Let Him Go, Let Him Grow tech, and we knew then, and we've just been friends ever since. But are you doing any shows this fall that's going to put you somewhere that people can come out and see you?
So we probably will not be doing any shows this fall. Our schedule has just been insane, and we possibly, if they still have a spot, I might send a crew over to Woods and Waters, but I'm not positive. I probably won't be there personally, but we might try to slip a booth in there. I'm not positive. And then we were going to do Deer Fest over in Wisconsin, but we've kind of pulled up on that one too. Especially that one's in August, and this is our absolute busiest time of year. So
It's hard to let people out of the shop when you're filling orders.
Yep, it is, and we've changed our business model a little bit too. We've grown substantially. I mean, we had a 400% increase in 2021, and now we're on a steady climb for 22. And what we ended up doing was, we were either going to have to get out of our shop here in Rockford and this is what we were going to do, and our landlord was building another unit next door to us, and they were going to do a build to suit for us and then let me out of this lease if we moved right into that lease. Well, it obviously would have been a lot more money. We would have had to hire more employees. We would have had to, workman's comp, the whole nine. And so what we ended up doing, that building site fell through because they hit PFAS in the water. So what we ended up doing, this is a gentleman I met a few years ago from my previous employer. We have all of our packaging and fulfillment is being done at another location in Kent City. So they have basically what happens is we're just doing all of the ordering and managing the business here, doing all of our sales and everything, taking care of the website, social media, everything here. We have our seed sales here in the shop, and then they're doing all the packaging and shipping off site in Kent City. We went from 250 orders behind, and they said, okay, while they were getting set up, we continued to ship out of here. As soon as we got set up over there, then they said, okay, stop shipping. We stopped, they started, and within 10 days we were completely caught up. So it's been a really good move for us. They have been nothing short of absolute professionals, and they are really good at what they do. And they do all of my inventory control. ordering everything. So obviously, it's costing us a little bit more, but we're not having to invest in this big building and all these employees, and so they employ all the people, and we pay them accordingly. So it's really worked well for us. And I sell real estate too, hunting properties. So we're hoping to be able to spend a little bit more time on that. We've got a couple other things in the works that I can't really put out there yet, but some possibly some really cool stuff happening too. So,
well, you switched to business model, orders through the roof.
Yep.
We had the dirty word COVID come in 2 years ago.
Yep.
Put a lot of people out of work. People still spent money though. They wanted to go out and they wanted to hunt.
Yep.
We had a lot of new people getting into the outdoors.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so people are going back to work now. Not all of them, but some of them are. And now the economy is starting to turn upside down. We're looking like we're going to be heading into a recession. Interest rates through the roof. What's pumping up your business and what's sustaining it and making you guys thrive where others are having problems?
Well, I think at the end of the day, everybody knows, as hunters and outdoorsmen, especially the passionate, diehards, we're going to find a way to get our equipment. We're going to find a way to get our food in the ground. We're going to find a way to, and I don't like to pigeonhole anybody, but a lot of my customers either have property or they lease property, or so their disposable income is probably a little bit bigger than maybe somebody that doesn't. So I think that's helping us. COVID pushed us through the roof, and we stopped ordering frames when COVID hit because I thought nobody's going to buy these things when they're losing their jobs. Well, it was just the opposite. We went through this. I mean, it just is incredible growth, and it's just continued. And people are very. I mean, they're the management end of it has gotten very big. People are managing their properties. They're managing their herds. I think a lot of it too is the need for call to packers is been very well known, and you can't find them right now, and they are very expensive. And our price point is still, even with the price increases, we're still cheaper than any call to packer on the market right now. And so, and we can ship it to your door for free. If you bought a Brilliant off, wherever, they're going to have to ship it to you. It's going to cost you, $300, $400, $500, depending on how big it is to get it to you. So,
right.
And then the versatility of ours, and I think also, word gets out when you take care of people. People talk about it, and
Absolutely.
like I said, we take care of people, and it's not you're not just buying a PackerMaxx, you're buying us and our service to you. So I think that that speaks. So.
It speaks volumes, because when we talk with other people, PackerMaxx and the name Lincoln Rohn is interchangeable, right? If you say Lincoln Rohn and they say PackerMaxx, you say PackerMaxx Lincoln Rohn, and now you've got Jeremiah with you, and Mark Coleman even says Jeremiah is top notch. He met him at the Indy and again at the Illinois this spring at those shows, and it just goes to show you that you're doing a family business, which is awesome.
Yeah, and we might be folding some more people into it too here, family, as we go. So it's honestly it's a blessing, and we've just been so fortunate, and good help is very, very hard to find, as everybody is well aware right now. And to have my son, who is like I said, he's a Marine veteran, and you don't become a Marine and have a bad work ethic. And so the dude works hard, and he takes it seriously, and he knows that at some point this company will probably be, his or partially his, and he's taken some ownership of it, and which is really awesome, because I couldn't do what I do without him or somebody, with a good work ethic that's going to back me up. And so, it's been a huge blessing, and we just are very fortunate and very thankful, to the big guy upstairs that he lets us do with us every day. So it's fun. It's hard work, but
it is hard. It is, well, you put it in, you get it doesn't come easy. And how many years has PackerMaxx been around?
So it's been around about, I think it was 2003 was when it was launched, and then I bought it 4 years ago from the original owner. And I always say I'm not smart enough to develop the PackerMaxx, but I'm smart enough to buy the company when I had the chance, because I know it was an awesome product. And I bought one about 10 years ago, and it changed. It was a game changer for our food plot program. It really was. And I have so many people in the outdoor industry using it now, like Sean Lundy, formerly with Drury Outdoors. I've gotten to know him very well, and he's an awesome guy, and he freaking loves the PackerMaxx. He said it's just a game changer. Robbie Pruitt, who you had on last week, that dude is salt of the earth. Love him, and he absolutely loves the PackerMaxx and talks about it all the time, which has been huge for us. I mean, the guy is. I try to give him stuff. He's like, no. Like, let me do something for you, Robbie. For crying out loud. And in that, I spent this past week with Don Higgins. The guy. Some people don't like him. Some people love him. I happen to think he's an awesome guy. He's a good Christian guy, and he kills big bucks like it's insane. He's got 3 bucks over 200 inches. 170-inch bucks, like, I don't even know how many booners he has. And the dude, we hit it off immediately. And, it's cool to be able to hang out with these people. That I'm going on a muzzleloader hunt next year with Eric Botham from Drury Outdoors. It's just been fun. It's been a dream come true. And I get, like I said, I'm very fortunate to get to do this every day.
So the suggestion has been made that it's an 03, next year is 23, which makes it the 20-year anniversary, that it should be done with a red, white, and blue frame anniversary edition.
Great idea.
Send the check to Mark Coleman.
Let's see, Mark. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to scroll through a little bit. I see Mark is
right.
Yeah.
But
it is a great idea.
And it's just one of those things. You got like we've talked about. Your passion for it and everything. And we're out there doing our fall food plots, and we're getting there. I know one of the questions a little bit further back was, do you know the pH levels that you're carrying in your fields?
Do I know?
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Absolutely, I know what the pH in every single one of my fields is.
And they're averaging
about 6.8.
There you go.
And you know that because you do
soil
soil tests.
And details matter. And if your goal is to just throw some stuff out and get a little bit of green for the deer to munch on, you can, by all means, man, you can till some soil or disc some soil up, throw some cereal rye out, throw a little triple 19 on it, and probably have a pretty decent stand. But if your goal is to attract and hold deer, feed them nutrition, to better your herd, to better your bucks, to make it come full circle, then details matter. You're going to want to know what your pH is. You're going to want to know what your organic material or organic matter is. Get a good soil test. Know how much nutrients you got to put into the ground. Know how much lime you have to put down. Don't guess. And another thing that I hear every single day, how big is your food plot? Oh, it's about an acre. Okay, do you have any idea how big an acre is? Not really. It's a football field. So is your plot as big as a football field? Because that's pretty big. No, it's probably about half a football field. Okay, well, that matters, because if I sell you enough to plant an acre of brassicas and you put it on a half acre, well, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to be very happy with them, because it's going to choke them out. Your stuff's not going to grow because you put too much seed down. So know how big your food plot is. If you get out there with a range finder, just range it, man. Or we have all these apps at our disposal now. We have Onyx, we have HuntWise, we have all these apps, man. Just Farm Logs is a good one. If you just outline it, boom, it tells you how big it is. Is it a quarter acre? You know, I bet you, probably 3/4 of the people that I talk to every day, their food plot is about a half acre or even less.
Mm-hmm.
And it's rare to have a 2 or 3 acre food plot, you know, to most deer hunters.
Well, we talked about last week overseeding, you know, and most people, they'll say, well, you know, if this much is good, then twice that much has got to be twice as good, and that's not the case.
No.
That's why you need to know.
You can get away with a little bit more with like a cereal grain, like, you know, we sell a grain bin. It's rye, oats, winter wheat, and peas. You know, you can get away with it planting a little bit heavy with that stuff because you're still going to get your stem count. You know, rye is very prolific, so, you know, it branches out and grows. But, you know, you're still going to get your stem count. But if you're starting to plant brassicas and clovers and stuff like that, man, you really want to know exactly how much you're putting in. You know, it's super important. And, you know, like I said, you can range it, you can put it on Onyx and just figure it out and know for sure, and don't guess. Like, you know, don't guess at your pH. Well, I put some lime on last year, maybe I'll put a little more on this year. No, go get a $10 soil sample, know how much to put in. Plus, you're wasting money if you don't.
Yeah, it's expensive.
You're literally wasting money. You know, and if you're guessing at 300 pounds an acre for fertilizer, and it's only going to cost, you know, it only needs 200 pounds. Well, guess what? You just wasted, you know, over $100 for 100 pounds of fertilizer. So, it's just, you know, details matter, and if you do it right, you will, you know. And then it all comes down to Mother Nature. If she, you know, gives us rain, then, you know, Lord willing, then you'll have a pretty good stand. But you can do everything right and not get rain and be in the same boat I'm in with dead corn and dead screen and dead everything. So,
well, we're talking about seeds right now. You got your own line of seeds as well.
Yeah, so we have a PackerMaxx blend. We have 5-2 Outdoors blends it for us. I wanted just to do, I have certain brassicas and turnips that I like, and I like to have, part of that whole overseeding thing is I like to have my brassicas separate from my radish. A lot of guys or a lot of seed blends mix the radish in with the brassicas. Well, I constantly put too much seed down because you have to open the gate further to let the radish through.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we did when they blended this for us is it's all brassicas in our brassica blend, and then we sell a separate bag of radish. That's a 2-pound bag that you just then top seed in the field. So it's got purple top turnips, hunter brassica, which is a forage brassica, forage collards, which is super important because those actually regenerate as they eat them. Most brassicas don't. Barknot turnip, which is a forage turnip, Winifred brassica, and canola. And canola is very attractive to deer. Anybody that's ever hunted over canola will seek it out at all costs. I had a guy drive from Lansing because we have canola in our blend. So, and you can't find straight canola right now, and it's very expensive if you do. So, yeah, we have that, and then we have clover, chicory, we have red clover, we have screens, we have all kinds of different blends from 5-2 Outdoors, but the brassica blend is my custom PackerMaxx blend. So
onward and upward, man. It just keeps adding to the lineup. I love it.
Yep. Yeah, and then we have in our shop we have Plot Doctor fertilizer. We've actually switched over to almost exclusively liquid fertilizer and lime now. It's the input is so much less. You're putting if you have a 100-pound bag of 1919, it's only about 60 pounds of actual nutrients. The rest of it is basically salt. So all that salt is going into your soil. It's not good for it over the years. It starts to build up. The liquid fertilizer from Plot Doctor is all carbon based, and every molecule of that is available to the plant. You don't have to worry about burning. If you do a foliar application on your screen, for instance, you can do a foliar application and not worry about burning it. And it's I mean, the earth is made of carbon, so why not use a carbon-based fertilizer?
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, we're bumping up here a little bit past our last break. Let's take our last break. We come back. I want to switch gears a little bit. I'm not going to promise that I won't get you into Facebook jail. No promises made, but we're going to step outside. We come back. We're going to talk about the recent Michigan deer hunting regulations that's just come out. I want to get your take on it. So we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this. All right. I said no promises.
Right?
Right.
And you're telling me no promises from me either.
Here's that outspoken thing.
Hey, that's just because we're so passionate about it.
It is. I love it.
I always tell somebody if they're willing to argue about something and they get animated and visceral about it, it's because they genuinely believe and have a passion for what they're saying.
Yes.
That's not a bad thing.
Nope.
As long as we don't come to fisticuffs, and as long as we can play in the same sandbox together and have a good old-fashioned debate, then, hey, you know what? It's all
Right.
good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm all about having a good. It's the disrespect that is just rampant in our society today is a little bit disconcerting. But
Amen to that.
If you don't think my way, your way is,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know how that goes.
And we'll cancel you.
Right?
Give me a break.
yeah, we'll cancel you 100%. It's a weird world we're living in right now.
You know,
Amen to that.
and you talk about disrespect for the other people. What drives me absolutely insane is the disrespect for law enforcement these days.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
uncalled for.
It is. It is. And we have, my son is a police officer. Both of my daughter-in-laws are police officers. I have two nephews and a niece that are police officers right here in Grand Rapids, and then my cousin is a police officer in Kalamazoo, and he's like my brother, and so I've been on ride-alongs with these guys, and I mean they have a very tough job, and every ride-along that I've ever been on with those guys, I come back with a migraine headache. It's just your sense of you're not used to it. Number one, you get adrenaline dumps,
Yeah.
and then your sense of awareness is just completely heightened, and your head's on a swivel.
Yeah.
And they don't know if I'm a cop or they don't know I have a bulletproof vest on and
Right.
dressed in black, and they so they don't know. It's just a whole different, and let's face it, it's a tough job. And
it is.
they're there to save your life, and they're there to protect. And my son was doing 94 miles an hour to a officer needs assistance call, and he hit a freaking deer.
Wow.
And it's not just bad guys shooting at you; it's
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, it could have been a freaking disaster.
Yep.
And it's scary. And the total disregard for their life. It's
appalling.
concerning.
Well, somebody close to me recently left law enforcement just for some of those same reasons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be a mass exodus if we don't watch it, because why would you want to?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
All right. Well, before we go down this rabbit hole too much further, let's get back to the task at hand here. We could talk about this all night. So, and big shout out to your family for serving, man. It's hats off to them and big thanks to them. So,
I appreciate it, man.
all right, here we go. Last segment. We saved the best for last.
We got one question.
Okay.
We talked about the PackerMaxx. We talked about the Crimper, the PackerMaxx seed label. Do you have anything in such as sprayers or spreaders in your lineup?
So we have a solo spreader that we sell. It's a solo hard side spreader. It's hands down the best one I've ever used, and that's why we sell it. If you've used like a bag spreader before, you will absolutely love the solo hard side spreader, and we sell those. I don't have any sprayers at the moment, but we are trying to work out a deal with Fimco to get a bunch of sprayers in here too. So
Okay.
as of right now, I don't. have any sprayers.
Okay.
But we have habitat hooks for, hinge cutting. We have, several different types of chemicals from Roundup to 2,4-D to clethodome. We have some mineral for our Ohio customers that drive down to Ohio.
Or the UP. You can use them in UP, right, Danny?
Yeah.
Or the UP, yeah. We have a lot of guys that buy it from the UP.
Okay.
But yeah, we got a pretty nice little offering.
Another question. You got on your right shoulder there, sitting on that table, is a game camera.
Oh yeah.
What
Boom.
is that? One of your go-to type game cameras?
Yeah, that's not there on purpose, but yeah. So I've switched over almost exclusively to Tacticam wireless, and they've got the XD, the SK, the X. I've got them all. I think I have 14 of them now, and I am a brand ambassador for Tacticam, and the only reason I am is because I really like their cameras. One cool thing that they came out with now is they have battery packs, lithium battery packs, and you can take them out of the camera, swap it with another one, and take this one back and charge it. They last just as long as AA lithium batteries. You get a lot of life out of them, and then you're not continuously taking batteries and chucking them. I mean, I have a 5-gallon bucket full of batteries that are just I need to dispose of. So just a little tip: I've got a bunch of these. They're $40, I think, but to load your camera with lithium batteries is probably $20 just for one round. So you can recharge these indefinitely. But yeah, I love the Tacticam. I have the SK, the XD, the X, all of them. I have them down in Illinois. I've had one down there since gun season in Illinois last year, and it's still snapping pics. So
that was a big discussion today. While I was at work, actually, there was a group chat going on, and I couldn't get involved in it. But that's what the discussion was trail cam. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were having a UNJ powwow about cameras, and I just happened to look at your picture, and I look over your shoulder, and I'm like, wait a minute. We might as well ask him, what does the man, the myth, the legend, Lincoln Rohn?
There you go. Now you know.
Now we know.
Yeah.
And we've heard, like Adam says, we've heard good things about him, and we, basically among the team here, we got them all. Spy Point, Moultrie, you name it, we got them. And so it was just one of those conversation starters we had, and it's awesome. Now let me ask you this. What do you think about some of these places? I think we might have asked you this before, but what do you think about some of these places banning them?
I think it's insane. I mean, especially okay, if they want to ban them on public property, I guess knock yourself out. But it's just it's an overreach, for crying out loud. I mean, if I have, our property in Nuevo, if I'm going to you can't tell me I can't put a freaking trail camera out on my property. I mean, how is that even possible? It's stupid.
I kind of agree with you there, because I'd like, if you have data that backs it up, i.e. DNR police reports, DNR reports that said, hey, we had an increase in fighting, whatever you want to call it. But if you don't present any data to the facts and just say it'll cause this, I get kind of leery as to, you don't give me data, I don't give you.
Right.
I'm not.
It's trespasser surveillance cameras is what I call them.
That's and I actually have signs from Tacticam that say this property is under surveillance, blah blah blah, by wireless surveillance. So yeah, just in that regard, they're incredible. But I mean, let's face it. Okay, so if we're going to ban trail cameras, then we need to ban range finders, and we need to ban crossbows and compound bows, and inline muzzle loaders, and come on.
Yeah, right. Well, okay, so now we got you wound up. That's good.
Right.
Now,
Right.
I threw the hook out there.
How about we ban shooting small bucks?
Yeah.
Let me, first things up first, you have to mandatory deer check your deer this year.
What's your thoughts on that?
So, honestly, I don't hate the idea. I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, whatever. A lot of states do it. Michigan had I'm one of the few people that actually thinks that their survey system was very scientifically sound. However, if people don't believe it, it's useless. Mm-hmm. And so, by doing this, people are going to have. I think they're still going to do the survey system, so they'll have two sets of data to be able to pull numbers from. I think that's good. Am I okay with having a mandatory check my deer? Yes, I am okay with that. There's people that aren't. I'm not sure why, to be honest with you, because people have been screaming for this. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been doing, part of the whole regulation thing for a long time, and that's one of the biggest keys that people have wanted was mandatory checks, because the DNR has no idea how many deer are shot. But honestly, it doesn't matter how many deer are shot. It really doesn't. The trends in the harvest is what matters. Mm-hmm. The upward trend, downward trend. They don't have to know every single deer that was shot. They really don't. But if it makes people feel warm and fuzzy and they know how many are shot, then I think it's a win, because then people can stop complaining that the DNR doesn't know how many deer are shot. So, I'm okay with it. I've gone as far as to recommend that they do an app. Everybody has a smartphone now. Every tag has a freaking barcode on it. Why can't you just scan your barcode when you shoot an animal, punch in some, your sacks, the, number of points, whatever, and download that to the app? It's instant. They would have real-time information, especially with doe harvest, because if you let's get some quotas established, and okay, well, Nuevo County, our quota is going to be 6,000 does. Just throwing that number out there. As people are checking these deer in, they're going to know exactly how many deer to the minute were shot, where they were shot, and then they can say, okay, well, we didn't hit our target of 6,000. Let's, we need to, amp it up a little bit. But people could see those numbers in real time and say, okay, well, maybe I need to shoot a couple more does. I think it'd be very useful if they did it.
Yep.
And they would know instantly, what the doe harvest would be. So,
the current system is website only, no phone system.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah,
that to me is kind of
a web browser. I like the app idea.
The app idea is great.
I like the barcode idea. I mean, we've got QR codes.
Oh, yeah.
Why a barcode? I mean, the same thing, basically the same type technology. Why
Well,
not put that on so you can scan it? I like that idea.
Exactly. It would take 15 minutes to build an app, and and if you don't have a smartphone, the dude standing next to you does.
Yeah.
And if you don't have service, well, then you just do it when you get to some point where you have service.
Yeah.
And I just think it'd be, I think it'd be incredibly useful, instant, like up in the TV zone, okay, where they want, they want to have these late seasons. Well, if they knew exactly how many does had been shot, maybe they'd pull the late season and don't do it, or maybe they amp it up.
Right. Yep.
Maybe maybe we need, hey guys, we're gonna extend this, or we're gonna
extend another week or another 5 days or what have you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We need another 100 does shot. Okay. Well, then guys would then you have some ownership and some participation, and I think that would go a long way. But I've dropped that suggestion many times, and they were going to pursue it, and then we get the computer check instead. So again, they don't listen. They never listen to anything I say. So
well, the thing
the opposite of what I say. So
the thing that kind of got me, and I know I'm going into the weeds a little bit though. They're talking about the 72-hour time period, giving people leeway to get their deer checked in. The thing that I worry about is if like Thanksgiving weekend. That's a prime example of what Danny and I said. Guy goes up, he takes Wednesday off work. He's in camp Wednesday morning. He hunts Wednesday, then Thanksgiving. He's got 5 days of field. And maybe he's in the UP where there's no service. Then maybe he doesn't want to break camp. I mean, he's going to bust up his camp coming out to find cell service. I don't think they should penalize somebody for if they report it and it's over 72 hours. Let's say it's that 5th day or 4th day before they come out of camp. As long as they report it, I don't think there should be any penalties for that. And I think putting that 72 hour on it, to me, that I don't like that.
and I understand that. Illinois, I think we have 24 hours in Illinois. So I mean, you can adjust, you can do what's necessary. I mean, I've been all the way across the UP. There's some pockets of, maybe 15 or 20-minute drives where you don't have service, but today most areas you're going to be within a few minutes of service. Sure. I believe, and not always. There's always exceptions, but I don't think that if somebody checks their deer at 80 hours or 90 hours or whatever that number is, I don't think they're going to have a warden knocking on your door.
I would hope not.
The biggest thing I think that they're worried that they want this thing checked before you process it, or before it goes to a taxidermist, or before it goes to a meat processor.
Yeah.
And so.
Dean Smith is saying that Alaska allows 15 days post hunt, so it gives somebody time to get out of the field.
Post hunt, yeah.
Yeah. So every state's different.
So, yeah, I think like I said, I would hope that they would have some leeway.
I hope there's some discretion. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the key word. It's officer discretion, and they have discretion with baiting. They have discretion with many things. So.
Okay. Well, let's look at. These rules come out, the new deer hunting regs. They came out, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was.
So we just got our deer harvest report back from last year, and there's a big bugaboo right now online. People are complaining that, okay, so we've got all of our data now, but they let the regs out for this year before they compile the data to set this year's rules by. What's your take?
Yeah.
Do it. I already know, but for those who are listening that don't know.
So they've made the decisions before they have the data, and this whole CWD test area for antler point restrictions, or this scientific study that they did is a complete waste of time, resources, money, all of the above. It got people super excited in these 3 counties to have antler point restrictions for 3 years, and then they jerk the carpet off from underneath them before they even have the information, before they can even vote on it. What they should have done, it did exactly what they wanted it to do. It increased freaking doe harvest in those areas.
Yep.
From 0.7 to 1.2 does per buck. It did what they wanted it to do, and instead they go, no, we're going to pull it, and then we're going to go, just the opposite to you can shoot 2 spike horns if you want and 10 does. And so it just makes no sense. Like if what they did made sense, it would be one thing, but it makes zero sense to make regulations based on data that they don't even have. And it's incredibly frustrating. It just is. And I just wonder, those that are in charge, like, do they think this stuff through before they do it, or do they? I mean, how does that? Doing that, like, who makes that decision?
I don't understand it. I really don't. And we went to Proposal G years ago to use sound scientific data to make these choices or these decisions,
Right.
And this is just bass backwards of what we voted on years ago.
So dealing with the Natural Resource Commission and the DNR for the last 10 years, I've stepped back. You guys know that. They've burned me out, and we've been lied to, cheated. You name it, they've done it to us. Led us to water and then poisoned it, and then so working with them, I think Proposal G needs to be honestly rethought, because what we have now is we have a bunch of ex-bureaucrats and lawyers and everybody else on our Natural Resource Commission. We have no citizens. It's supposed to be made up of citizens. And why do we not have a deer manager professional on that commission?
Right.
Why do we not have that? Wayne Sitton, why is he not sitting on a commission?
Yep.
I mean,
we've been begging for that.
Yeah, and why is the former director of the Department of Natural Resources on that commission? He stepped from the Department of Natural Resources right into the commission. Is that not a conflict of interest? How does that even happen? And so, and I'm not saying that the people on the commission are bad people. I'm not saying that at all. I just don't think that they are making sound decisions based on data and scientific evidence. And we need a deer manager. That's all there is to it, or two. That knows a little bit about deer. Even somebody that that is willing to look at data for what it is. We have sound data from the 13 counties under antler point restrictions right here in this state. That it's our own state. It's our own, and it is absolute unequivocal proof that deer hunters love it. They hunt more. They are happier with their hunting. They are more engaged. They are losing fewer hunters than the rest of the state. How is that not a win? Why would you not want that for the whole state? Why?
I can't fathom an answer to the question. We've asked the same question for, like you said, the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It just
we have a holy grail in the Northwest 12, and we have and you go to the core CWD areas, and it's a freaking just a massacre. And unfortunately, a lot of guys participate in it, and the Let 'Em Grow group has changed a lot of people's thought process, and it made a lot of people think. And I think that's the biggest feather in my cap and the others that helped along the way build it to what it is, or what it was. We can be proud of the fact that we've made people think about what they're shooting, think about their harvest decisions, think about the actual the deer herd, and not continue to take, and actually give back.
Yep.
And we haven't gotten any regulation help. We haven't gotten anything, but I do believe that we've had a big impact in helping this state and changing that mindset of I got to get my buck. You know what? If you don't get a buck, you're gonna be okay. I promise you.
Right? Yeah.
If you absolutely want some venison, there's so many doe opportunities. Well, I can't shoot a doe. I won't have any deer.
Yeah.
Well, then, literally, there's state land. We have some of the most state land in almost any state in the country. Or public land. It's state and federal, but travel a little bit and go shoot a doe. It's not difficult.
Yeah.
If you want some meat, we got a farmer in Fremont that's begging us to come out and shoot does, and I'm like, he's like, everybody wants to hunt bucks, but nobody will shoot does. I'm like, we'll come shoot your bean-fed does.
Here, right here.
Right.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Yeah, exactly.
So I think at the end of the day, we've made some people think, and and I'm not saying that we're not going to re-engage, but when we started to re-engage, and then all of a sudden they do this with the regulations, and you go, what's the point? Seriously, man, I'm going to be hunting in Saskatchewan the last week of October this year. I'm going to be coming back from there. I'm going directly to my lease in Illinois for 10 days. I'm going to come back. I am going to hunt Michigan's gun season with my dad, because that's what we do.
Right.
And then I'm going right back to Illinois for their shotgun season, or now gun season. And then I'm probably going to either do a late season hunt in Wisconsin or Ohio. And so I get my time in Michigan keeps getting shorter and shorter. And, we the biggest buck we have on camera, so far is like an 80-inch 8-point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take my grandkids out and, let them shoot him or, another buck and just enjoy that time that I have with them. But when it comes to my serious hunting, it's going to be done out of state. And
there you go.
Myself and thousands of other hunters are doing the same thing, and they wonder why we're losing hunters.
Right, exactly. Robbie Pruitt says, one of the best guys I have ever known.
Who's that?
Gotta be talking about you, man.
Gotta be talking about you.
Well, right back at you, Robbie. I feel the same way about you, brother.
Adam Wynn says, years ago he found the Let 'Em Go, Let 'Em Grow page, and it changed his mind on shooting small bucks.
Who said that?
Adam Wynn. He's on our staff here at Up North Journal. he's been buckless for the last 2 years. He's been passing of young deer over those 2 years.
That's awesome. I mean, it really is. That that it makes what we've done, worth it when I hear that. And I know the other guys that have helped along the way. Really appreciate hearing that too, because we worked our butts off. Not just with the department and meetings and everything, but we did summits. We had these, you guys have been to a couple of summits. I mean, those were
a lot of work.
They were good.
Yeah, they were good. They were fun, but a lot of work.
A lot of damn work. So.
Well, I got one more statement here I want to read, and we'll close on this. I want to get your thoughts on it, and it's from our buddy Dean again. Dean Smith says, since we already mentioned the DNR director, he says, DNR director has sent over a new interpretation of their proposal G to the NRC and are going to usurp the power of the NRC.
Well, good.
So
they can see that proposal.
Yeah, I'd like to see it published. So.
Yeah, or that interpretation of the proposal.
Yeah. Because
something needs to change, because it's just not working. And if it was doing what it was intended to do, that'd be great. But it's not. It's not even close. It's a political body of people that have been given the power to control the entire state's natural resources, and they don't have any freaking idea what they're doing.
Was there 5 people on that commission?
My opinion, 7.
7. Okay, I knew it was odd number.
It's an odd number.
Yeah. So you got 7 people that are setting policy for the whole state of Michigan.
Yep.
Political appointees favors to certain people a lot of times as well. So we could talk all night. This could be a series of 10 shows.
Exactly. And with that, Dean Smith says it's not good.
Oh, figures. Okay.
Oh, it's not good?
Yeah, that's what he says. So, you know how that goes.
I'll have to see if I can get my hands on that. But
Yeah.
It's just like I said, it's just very frustrating, and it's the same way with all with the Grand Rapids City Commission. Let's say they're just getting their butts handed to them right now. It's just a weird time right now, and I think the Natural Resource Commission is again, it's made up of a body of individuals that shouldn't be there, and or at least most of them. We shouldn't have former directors and lawyers and they just don't know. We need a Wayne Sitton on the NRC.
You need
an advocate for
you need more than that. You need enough advocates that if there's a vote, they're just not a proxy vote. It's you gotta have that, or else, like Dean Smith says here, change the NRC, not the premise of proposal G.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. That's the other thing that we need to do is we need to research our governor vote very carefully. I've met with, and I'm going to drop the name, Ryan Kelly. I've had several meetings with him, and he has our backs, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And when it comes time to vote, that's how we get the NRC changed. And if we can have free and fair elections, maybe we can make some headroll there. But Ryan, like I said, I've met with him. We've had, it's daylight at the end of the tunnel for me if he can get elected. So,
well, we got next month. We've got our
primaries are
next month. So
August 2 or August 4, I can't remember.
Yeah, everybody get out and vote. So it's our privilege and right to get out and vote. So, all right, guys and gals. We're running along here on the show tonight, but that means we had some good discussion tonight.
I tell you what, folks, if you have listened to the show, you want some more information, go on over to PackerMaxx.com. Check out what he's got over there in PackerMax's seeds. He's got a whole bunch more in the store. If you don't see it, give Lincoln a call over there at the shop. He's there pretty much every day working. And check out the website there at PackerMaxx.com. and go from there.
There you go. All right, Lincoln, hang on with us. When we get done with the show, we'll debrief for just a moment and let you go at that point. But for everybody who's listening on the show tonight on the podcast, if you would, make sure you go, if you're listening on iTunes, go over, give us a review over there. It helps the people who support us, like Lincoln. It also helps spread the good word about us as well. And do us a favor and share the show if you would. And follow us over on social media. For those of you who are watching the show tonight here live on Facebook, or if you happen to catch our refeed over on YouTube, give us a like, follow, share. Do the same for PackerMaxx as well over on Lincoln's page over on Facebook, and give them a like, follow, and share as well. So next week
we're going to switch over from hunting to some fishing. Zion from Southern Baits
Southern Baits, Indiana.
Yep,
Zion Dunaway.
they'll be on, and we're going to talk some youth fishing and see how their business is doing over there.
Yeah, we talked to them all back through the winter, I do
Yep.
believe. So, but we're going to catch up with them. So, looking forward to having those two guys on from down in Southern Indiana. So that's going to do it for us this week. Make sure y'all tune in next Wednesday night, 7:30, same place, same time, and we will have the boys on from down in Indiana. Y'all take care and have a good week. See
Thanks,
you next
guys.
week. Yep, thanks you.